So welcome everyone to another episode of Optimal Health for Busy Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Julian Hayes, back at it again with another fantastic guest on a fantastic subject. And if you've been on this podcast and you've listened to some of the episodes, you've heard me always reference that the human body is a system and that everything is connected there. And one key system that we talk about is phase 2 detoxification, which is responsible for eliminating toxins from the body, amongst many other things. And one of the more important systems for phase 2 involves glutathione, which is something that you might not have heard of as much. Now, you've heard of antioxidants before, but you haven't heard of glutathione, which is given a name of being the master antioxidant, but it's much more than that. And my guest today is going to dive into everything about glutathione. It is Dr. Nayan Patel. He is a pharmacist, a researcher, globally recognized and regarded as the foremost expert on glutathione. He's also the author of the book, The Glutathione Revolution. So if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see this pretty book that I'm holding in my hand. Without further ado, Dr. Patel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Julian. Thanks for having me over here.
No, thank you for joining me. And yes, before we dive into glutathione, I always like to go back and get a little bit of your origin story. And when I was reading the book, I was interested that your father moved from India to Zambia to start a farm, and then he gives it away after it becomes sufficiently able to run. And so I'm curious about that. What about that shaped you into the man who you are today? What are some lessons that you took from that?
Well, my father is a big believer in faith. He believes that everything happens for a reason. We are here for a purpose, and our purpose is, if you're a selfish person, then your purpose is never going to be solved because you have not dived deep enough to understand who you really are. And so, knowing what my dad has done for all his life, it just brings joy to me. I see him as a very happy and a content person today. He's 86 years old, 87 years old today, and he's absolutely the most happiest person I've ever seen. And it's all his friends group, right? All his bunch of friends that he hangs out with it, and he's always the happiest person in all of them. And I believe that his happiness comes from not what he has, but what he has done. And how many people he has impacted in his lifetime. So I wish I could do the same thing. And being an entrepreneur and a busy person in the United States, coming from Africa is way different than living in the United States. I'm in the hustle and bustle, working hard, making things happen. I thought I can do better than what my dad can do in terms of accumulating wealth. And I'm further away from being happy. And so it wasn't until a few years ago when we discovered the glutathione molecule, when he came to my office one day and literally sat down and asked me this question. I said, what, are you happy? And he says, why do you ask me this question? Because of course I'm happy. I said, no, are you truly happy? And that happiness literally comes from how many people have you served? And that service mentality is what's dawning me and gearing me towards becoming a better pharmacist than I ever can become. So
yeah, that's a very interesting question, and it's a very basic question, but it's something that a lot of times the things that we think will make us happy, the things that we're initially pursuing and going after, that thing tends to not make us happy. And like you said, it's only once we discover that impact as the main thing becomes how we can truly find happiness.
Sure.
And so going by that, how did you discover glutathione, and what garnered your interest in that?
So the discovery happened about 12 years ago. And, I'm a compounding pharmacist, and that passion came from my mom she was a compounding pharmacist of our house, because anything that went wrong with any of our family, she would put some herbs and some home remedies and help us heal our problems, right? And so the mentality of helping people, I'm a compounding pharmacist, I make medications in my pharmacy, I'm still a working pharmacist. And so being in the pharmacy, I'm always solving problems. And one of the major problems was to effectively use a product like vitamin C, glutathione, an antioxidant to deliver to our body. And of course, vitamin C was very easy to work on. So we were working on vitamin C. And even though we succeeded in stabilizing the molecule and delivering to the human body, we could not justify the cost it was going to, we would have to charge the patients to deliver this antioxidant, because it was not the best one in the world. The best one, of course, was glutathione. So we not abandoned, but we shelved the vitamin C project and started working on the glutathione project. And sure enough, in about 2.5 years, we were able to first stabilize the molecule of glutathione at a room temperature in a water-based system, which has never been done before correctly. So that was our first aha moment. I said, wow, we got something done. Wasn't solving any problems yet. I could not get rid of any problems yet, but at least we solved one problem of stabilizing the molecule. As a pharmacist, to me, that was the biggest achievement I could ever have. It wasn't until like 2.5 or 3 years later when we discovered that the delivery of this molecule is through your skin. And when we discovered that, it started ringing my head in a different directions. And my goodness, what is this happening, right? Why is this going? What is this going to happen to us in terms of once we deliver this molecule to the skin? How is it going to affect people's lives? And so, over the years, I have contacted probably dozens and dozens of physicians all over the United States, some in Europe, some in Asia, some in Mexico, and I've learned what the uses are. So before I do anything, right, I studied for about 9 years, learned everything I could learn until that time, wrote my first book on the glutathione, which is the Glutathione Revolution, and then released the product afterwards, just to make sure that, hey, I'm not the kind of person that is going to release the product first, try to make some money, and then write the book and try to make more sales out of it. But the whole idea was to keep on researching, trying to figure out what the molecule can do for us. And if you read the book, I'm sure you already read the book, but you'll see a lot of different things that we have studied so far. But then if we extrapolate that information into the medical terms, I think we have another 20, 30 years of work of still work left in this to discover all the uses of glutathione at this point.
Absolutely. And before we dive into what exactly glutathione is, I'm going to add a little context behind this and just to prop it up a little more to even emphasize how important it is. Because one thing that stood out to me, which I didn't realize, was glutathione's connection with centenarians. And that was very interesting for me. And basically, to kind of shorten it here, is that the Dutch researchers here concluded that glutathione was related to centenarians' long-term survival, was kind of a key portion of that. And do you remember that study?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it just shows when you look at the centurions and see why they're still alive today and how they're functioning better. Of course, we look at one of the molecules was just the glutathione, but there's a lot more things than that, right? Chemically, we have to have all the components, enzymes and acids and everything inside our body to keep on functioning the body as normal. But more than that, it's also the sanity of your mind. And keeping your mind clean and clutter-free. We always think that what goes into your mind is from extra stimuli, but keep in mind, the mind is also occupied with all the junk that we produce, inside our body. So keeping our cranium clean of all impurities from inside and outside is the key over here.
And so what exactly is glutathione?
All right. So now the glutathione, if you look at, structurally it's a protein. You combine 3 amino acids into a small chain, it's a protein. If you combine like 190 amino acids, you can get growth hormones. But if you just put 3 of them together, it's called glutathione, which is a protein. But nobody asked me what it is. People always ask you is, well, I don't know. I don't care what it is. What does it do for you, right? So the identity of glutathione is based on what it does for you, which is one of the things it does is quenches free radicals out of your body. And that's the term, the antioxidant, comes into play, because it's the master antioxidant. It quenches all the free radicals that is produced within a human body and what exposure we have from outside environment as well. So that's one thing. It also facilitates a lot of different reactions. So it's an enzyme. It's a detoxifier. I mean, you can name what it does, but if you look at the structure-wise, it's just a protein. So the better question is, what does it do for us? And that's what we want to discover every single thing. So far, we discussed a few things only, but there's a lot more work left to be done still.
So I'm sure people have heard of free radicals. And so is that connected with, just for listeners, just for clarity, free radicals, oxidative stress?
Oh, yes. I mean, so oxidative stress is a big word, right? Mm-hmm. It's huge because I can give some simple examples. Like when you go out in the sun and you get sunburn immediately because you have no protection, that's oxidative stress right there, right? And think about it. As soon as you have that and you apply the glutathione on top of it, in literally 20 seconds, if you have some pains, it's gone. It just tells you how fast it works to quenches all the free radicals. And again, you can go to the pharmacy, and get some sunburn sprays and things like that. All it is just anesthetic solutions. So it just numbs you down, but doesn't really quenches the free radical. So the glutathione, it will quench the free radical, and once free radicals are gone, the pain goes away. So that's an easy one. The bigger component that we have of free radicals inside our body is because our body is a huge chemistry set. We have over 3,000 chemical reactions happening every single moment in our life, right? And those chemical reactions, the byproducts are something we're not used to it, right? The byproducts are sometimes oxidative species that the body has to kind of get rid of it. And so the body produces glutathione to do that on a regular basis. It produces enough of it. But the problem is when the body cannot produce more than what your body needs. That's where the discrepancy comes in. Oxidative stress is a big word. We get from outside sources. Our body produces it internally. And the biggest one that we get today in this modern day society is the environmental stressors. We have put so much stress on our human body that our body is not able to keep up with it. We have financial stressors. We have marital stressors. We have chemical stresses. We consume chemicals more than ever before. Our exposure to the pollutions and the pesticides and the fertilizers and all the chemicals in the environment has just gone skyrocket. All these things have to be neutralized and got rid of it from your body for your body to function normally. So that's all this thing combined is considered oxidative stress because it's producing free radicals inside your body.
And so speaking on that, stress is a big component. Is that especially for entrepreneurs, stress is going to be a big thing that we have to combat and everything. And stress is not inherently bad, but if you don't mitigate it, that's when it gets out of control. So besides stress affecting and depleting glutathione, what are some other things? And toxins as well. Are there some other things as well that typically are the causes for depletion?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is it's the toxins. Mm-hmm. The exposure to toxins depletes all the glutathione. Glutathione has the ability to recycle itself. So when you are reducing the oxidative stress due to, for example, sun produces free radicals. The free radicals glutathione will give up the electron to neutralize the free radical. In that turns, glutathione becomes oxidized. The oxidized glutathione can also accept electrons from your food, like vitamin C. So if you drink a lot of orange juice or anything that has a lot of vitamin C in there, vitamin E, and things like that, they will take the electrons from those molecules from your food and regenerate itself again. This regeneration properties of glutathione makes it so unique and so different than anything else we produce in our body, because it's like I watch my son playing these video games all the time, and the guy is dying on the floor, and the guy comes and sneaks one inside, right? It's like a lifeline. So the body has a lifeline. So when you eat food, food is regenerating our body. If you think about it that way, food is supplying what's necessary to our body to regenerate. Food is not solving our problems, okay? And so the type of food we eat, we are regenerating our body. So all the electrons, all the antioxidants that we eat consumes orally is actually helping revive the glutathione back. So being said that, when it conjugates with chemicals and toxins and heavy metals, it's a one-way process. It will lose its potency of regenerating itself again. So besides oxidative stress and pollutions and toxins, those are the most common ways to reduce the productions. Of course, there's genetic defects, and some kids are born with a defect that they can't produce glutathione, and we label them as spectrum disorder. We have autism on one end and Asperger's on the other end, and and depends on varying capabilities of your body's detoxification pathways are impaired. We put them on a spectrum, and all it is they have inability to produce glutathione or glutathione-like molecule to help detoxify the body.
Okay, and this glutathione also, and I assume it does, it's going to play a role in aging and energy, and in those two areas as well, right?
Yes. We just talked about that part, which is the Centenarians. If you want to age healthy, or if you want to age gracefully, then you want to have both a good functioning body and a good functioning mind. And to clean the body from inside, you need to have something that cleans up all the time. Number one thing that our body produces abundantly is glutathione. I always give an analogy of a refrigerator, because we see that every single day. Imagine a refrigerator is full of mold on every single shelf. You would not put a new food inside until you clean the whole refrigerator out first, right? How about if there's only mold on one shelf, but the rest of the refrigerator is okay? You can see the mold with the naked eyes. You're still going to empty the whole fridge out, clean every single thing, and then literally put the new food inside. And so I always look at that as an analogy for our human body. Our human body is exposed to pollutions and toxins every single day. Mold is just an example, but anything that's increased in our body, we literally have to get rid of it, clean it out on a regular basis, so the body stays fresh and clean at all times. So that's what helps us age better, age faster. I just heard the statistics today that people over the age of 80 in the United States has increased by four times. That is that's a lot of pressure on the U.S. government to deal with these people and to keep them healthy. And of course, the overarching consumption is that, hey, let's get them more medicine and more help on that end. But all I'm saying is that that's not going to solve the problem. What's going to solve the problem is let's teach the people to how to improve their own body functions by optimizing glutathione levels, your nutrition, having better thoughts and better and mindful exercise and things like that is going to help go into that age and still be a productive citizen of the society.
Yeah. Do you see in the foreseeable future about actually introducing glutathione into mainstream medicine? Do you see a possible entryway for that?
So you know what? It's FDA has already approved a medicine called N-acetylcysteine, NAC. So cysteine, glutamine, and glycine are the three amino acids that takes to make glutathione. Cysteine is the one that is not abundantly found in our diet. So FDA has approved a cysteine molecule to be taken orally or in an inhalation solution for your body to produce its own glutathione levels. So it's there, but it's not there because it is still relying on your body's ability to produce glutathione. It takes 3 amino acids, 2 enzymes, and a catalyst like selenium to produce 1 molecule of glutathione. And it is only going to produce enough of what the supply is. But keep in mind, I told you earlier that our exposure to toxins is so far exceeding what a body's ability to production is, that sometimes that NAC molecule is not enough to meet up all the demands. And hence, we need to infuse to have this glutathione back into our system. Now, FDA has not approved any glutathione product at this time yet. I guess no manufacturing company has come out and said that, hey, we can spend all the millions and billions of dollars to get to the FDA trials to approve it yet. So it's a hard sell, but I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a busy guy, and I tell all my friends they're in the same boat, right? Most of my friends are business owners, entrepreneurs, and they're in the same boat. They love what they do, but in order for them to what they want to do on an ongoing basis, they need to have a perfect body to support that. And so all of them are on a quest to find the perfect solution to stay healthy. Glutathione is just the base of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's like when you cook any meal, you have to have the base. The base is the glutathione. So that's a jumping off point for us. So I hope it becomes a mainstream, and I hope all your listeners are influential to make this thing happen for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm thinking, by age 20 and after that, I read that the glutathione production starts to drop. And then by 40, that's a 20% drop typically. But as you mentioned, with all the toxin exposure, I'm thinking that people are going to have these deficiencies much younger now with the world we live in. So what are some signs of deficiency?
Oh boy. That's I mean, the thing, keep in mind, glutathione affects literally thousands of reactions inside your body. The simple stuff that you see all the time on the skin is easier because you start seeing age spots very early on, because you say, oh, I'm overexposure to sun. But you see age spots even in patients that have no sun exposures in cold countries. And supplementation of glutathione can actually help the liver metabolize better and remove the age spots out of there. I mean, that's a physical thing to see, but chemically, I mean, if you're having a doctor visits all the time, you can literally measure your glutathione levels. You can measure all your inflammatory markers, and the inflammation starts increasing in your body as you age, because the ability for your body to reduce inflammation is decreased. Glutathione is the molecule to basically help the reduction of all inflammation, right? We have so many different medications for different types of inflammation. We have prednisone, and we have arthritis medications, and we have hydroxychloroquine for different types of inflammation. I mean, we have so many different drugs out there. All those things meets up on the high. The high point is where glutathione affects. If there's not enough glutathione, if you have enough glutathione, then all the different inflammatory markers are going to be better. So you can measure in your blood, you can see physically. You're just tired, lethargic, your amotivation, you gain weight. What else? I mean, you can measure your toxic load. I mean, those are biopsies, and those nobody does that anymore, because who wants to take a piece of tissue out of your I mean, they did a study in California, in fact, on all the cadavers, and they found 100% of all cadavers have all the toxins that are out there. So organic phosphates, solvents, chemicals, all of them are present in all tissues. So it's not like we don't have it. It's the key is, can we keep it low enough so the body can function normally?
Okay, so sounds like glutathione is basically kind of like a puppet master, and those strings that it's controlling is basically on pretty much every facet of life, especially when it comes to inflammation. So if if the listeners out there and they're listening to this and they're going to get lab work, if they have high inflammatory markers, maybe what you say, one of those, for instance, could it be CRP? Would that be
CRP is inflammation for your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and that may not be the accurate markers, but you want to measure the IL-2s, IL-6. You also want to measure the arachidonic acid levels, AA levels, and measure those out, because those are more like even rheumatoid factors sometimes. So you can measure those levels. Those are like widespread inflammation. The one that I always measure for my patients is the homocysteine levels. And homocysteine is it's an amino acid. We are measuring cysteine molecule inside our blood, but really that is, if the cysteine is high, that means your body is inflamed. Is the way I look at it. And so I always see all my type 2 diabetic patients with high homocysteine level. And even though the range is pretty widespread, anything about 8 is what I consider, to me, is I need some intervention. I need to do something to reduce my inflammation down.
And so let's move on to skin health real quick. And this is something that's all of us top of mind, especially as we quote unquote age chronologically. Is we think about wrinkles, we think about our discoloration, we have different marks, as you mentioned, on there. And so let's go through a process, because a lot of times people ask me, I want to improve my skin, and so we're looking for some kind of supplement first and foremost before taking care of some foundational elements. So where does skin health start with you?
So for me, skin health starts from your stomach, gut.
Mm-hmm.
So gut health is important to have a better skin health. But when we talk about gut health, stomach health, we always talk about probiotics, because that's what we think about. It's always probiotics. But the bacteria in the stomach lining is not going to be important to us if the stomach lining is not intact. So for me, to have an intact stomach lining, you need glutamine, which is one of the components of glutathione, to have that stomach lining intact. So once the stomach lining is intact, you have better absorption of all the nutrients. Nutrients to get to your skin is difficult, right? It takes time to get to your skin. So I was always getting asked, I say, hey, what's the best moisturizer? And I always tell them, drink enough water. I want something for my skin. I say, I know. What I'm telling you is that there are zero moisturizers, zero, that can put moisture back into your skin. All the products, only thing they do is stop the evaporation of the moisture outside your skin. So you gotta drink enough water to have a nice and plumpy skin. And all the chemicals that we use, or the products that we use externally, is helping us either reduce the evaporation of the water, or sometimes they trap the waters and keep it inside your skin for a little bit longer, like hyaluronic acid does. But really, they're not putting moisture back inside. So I always start off with is glutathione being the savior of the stomach, and that's going to help have a better skin. Now, don't get me wrong. If you apply glutathione straight on your skin, you're going to see visible changes immediately. I mean, I'm talking about those spots on you that you get because of sun exposure, or just age, as you age, the spots comes out. Most of those spots could be from your liver, could be from toxins. But to reduce the spots, all the medications in the world, all it does, it just fades it, right? They bleach it. I don't have a problem with bleaching, only thing the issue is that it's not gone yet. So my issue is, can I get rid of it? And the way you get rid of it is empower the body to basically clean it out. And applying glutathione on the spots, I mean, you're talking about 30 days, 45 days, and you can see visibly the spots are going away.
Wow.
And once they go away, the chance of it coming back are going to be slim to none, because once you see the benefit on the spots, you're going to see other benefits inside your body, like your energy is going to go up. You're going to feel better. So all of a sudden, the patients that start taking this product, all of a sudden, hey, you know what? It's not about the age spots anymore. I feel better. So yeah, we look at the skin conditions as a jumping off point, but they have long-term benefits more than that. Wrinkles, I always get questions about the skin health and say, hey, where's these wrinkles coming from? Well, of course, collagen production is one of them. How do you improve more collagen? Now, guys have less wrinkles than women do, because guys have testosterone that makes the skin thicker and oilier, so it doesn't wrinkle as bad or as fast. And for women, they don't have enough testosterone. They have estrogens, which make the skin nice and smooth. I love the skin, but as they age, it starts getting thinner. So the thinner skin wrinkles much faster. And so the collagen under your skin needs to be improved upon. And it takes proline and lysine and the other amino acids to build up the collagen. And so having a source of glutathione to trap all those molecules to build the collagen with the help of vitamin C is going to get rid of the wrinkles away too. Discoloration, the hardest part, the most difficult part in the whole derm world is your skin discoloration. And they have diseases named like melasma for that one. And again, we're not talking about disease states. We're talking about discoloration of your skin. Could be from sun, could be from pollution, could be from anything else. Glutathione evens out your skin tone. I mean, it's on the chemical sources. It affects the melanocytes and it evens up your skin tone. So discoloration doesn't happen when you're young. It only happens as you age. And I have a huge African American community that have a huge discount because this people is already dark, so they're already dark skin. So most people think that hey, it's just dark skin, but these people know that they have discoloration because the face is darker than the whole rest of the body is. Mm-hmm. And so just because you have black skin doesn't mean that you don't have discoloration.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's what we have been seeing a lot of those things. So anyway, so skin conditions, it intrigues me because people like to have beauty first from outside. And I look at the other way around. I said, I look for beauty from inside. Now I'm clean shaved, right? Uh-huh. I shave almost on a twice a week, 3 times a week basis. And guess what? I have produced these creams with the glutathione, all the antioxidants, put on my face, and no aftershave. I don't care how much cuts I get. Literally in less than a minute, everything is healed.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to try that. Yeah, I'm going to have to try that.
Oh, it works. It works fantastic. Just immediately, right? So no more of those alcohol to kill the bacteria on your skin. You just heal the skin and you're fine.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions from all of that. And the first thing is, I can't help but go to the store and I feel like I see a new collagen peptide brand every time I go. And so you have some people that are downing the collagen peptide powder and as their sole basis for their skin regimen and everything. And that's incomplete if I'm hearing this correct, right?
Yes, because the collagen has to get to the skin.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot put peptides on your skin and goes inside your skin. It's one of those things. Nothing can go from from through your skin into the skin and stay there. It has to go from the body to go up to your skin. So it takes a while. And collagens are peptides. And what does peptides do? What does the stomach do to all the peptides, which is proteins?
Mm-hmm.
They chop it up. They chop it up into different amino acids. So I always think about it and said, hey, if I want to increase my collagen production, what I have to do first is I have to make sure I have enough amino acids in my diet, which is proteins. So that's why that's the term, because you got to have enough proteins in your diet because the proteins will be broken down into various amino acids, and the body will use those amino acids to produce collagen, peptides, all the things that we need as a building blocks. But we need to have something under your skin like vitamin C and glutathione to basically trap those collagen, to trap those amino acids to produce a collagen under your skin. So I'm not opposed to taking all peptides because they definitely play a role in it. But what happens in a test tube is different than what happens in the human body.
Absolutely.
Because that's about I'm always worried about. So hey, have you done trials to make sure that it happens that? And of course, FDA doesn't require trials to do that part. So as long as they do some study in the test tube and it makes sense, then hey, let's take it. Let's have the body figure out what it's going to do with it. Mm-hmm. So,
and some people have probably seen glutathione is available as IV as well, yes, compared to topically. And I think there's oral as well. Yeah, I think there's orally as well. And so different supplements, different vitamins, minerals have different efficacies depending on different forms. So with glutathione, topical is going to be probably the best one long term. And so I'm just curious, why is that?
Why is that? So that's our technology that you're asking about. The technology that we have developed, and again, we never thought in a million years that glutathione would go through your skin, because we could not figure out how to get this protein into a different configuration and reduce the particle size and get to your skin. That was the hardest part. So let's talk about the oral capsules of glutathione. Glutathione is a protein. When you take oral capsules, it doesn't matter if it's oral capsules and powder-filled capsules, or there's the newest technology, well, not new anymore, but a technology called liposomal technology, where it protects the glutathione molecule. It doesn't break broken down into the stomach lining. But eventually, the protein is a protein. Your body will break it down into various amino acids, and the amino acids ends up in the blood, and the blood will try to make the glutathione again. There's a study done at the Texas A&M University. This was in 2010, where they took autistic kids and they give this oral form of glutathione, and they did the blood measure, and they found out there was zero increase in the red blood cells. There was increase of glutathione in the blood, but nothing in the red blood cells, there's a distinction between that two, and the distinction comes from the IVs, right? So when you give IV glutathione, you just take it. And by the way, full disclosure, I was one of the largest producer of IV glutathione in the United States until 2019. We used to supply IV clinics all over the United States, in probably about 31 states at that time. And the reason is because I was still studying my topical form of glutathione. And once I got my book and the patents published, everything was published, we shut that business down because I didn't see a value in giving IVs anymore. Now, I'll tell you why. When you give IV glutathione, it goes into your bloodstream, but it only stays in your plasma. The blood is red blood cells, and the water is the plasma. If it stays in the plasma, which is not a bad thing, but the downside of staying in the plasma only is that it only stays in your body for about 14.1 minutes, plus or minus 9 minutes. Wow. So literally in 23 minutes, you'll probably have the most expensive urine you'll ever have, because whatever money you paid everything is in your bladder now. So our body needs enough for 23 minutes in a day. It's throughout the day. So when we discovered the topical form of glutathione, our technology is called the oral GSH technology. When we discovered that, what we found out was our patent was approved based on the ability to not just to stabilize the glutathione molecule in the water system that we have, but also delivering to the RBCs, to the red blood cells levels. For the very first time, we were able to do that. And when we did that part, we were able to keep the glutathione levels in your body for up to 6 hours, between 4 and 6 hours. And this was after single application, after one time only. We have further studies that are ongoing right now at the university to measure this whole thing out and to see if we use it for a few days or a few months in a row, does it increase from 4 to 6 hours to 12 hours or 24 hours? So we only have to use it either once or twice a day. So that is still an ongoing studies that are happening at this time. But as of right now, we know for a fact that it is increasing red blood cells. So now, guess what? If you think about it, there's no need for doing anything else, because nothing is going to raise your blood levels to the point where it's going to be effective. So that's what the topical versions came into play for us. And again, as your listeners are shocked today, I was shocked myself 12 years ago, and I couldn't believe it. And then I look at all the literature, and the literature says that, hey, it can get rid of this problem. I said, well, let me find out how long does it take. And to my amazement, some of the problems where we were able to get rid of it or have a better control of the problems was less than 2 or 3 days, which in a normal time, it takes anywhere from 30 days to 45 days sometimes. And so all of a sudden, everything starts ringing bells, right? I said, hey, the literature says this, can we prove it? The literature says this, can we prove it? And so my book has all this, as you read it, have all these different stories, because all I can do is publish stories at this time not an actual trial, but the stories are very compelling because these are real people with real modification in the lab values.
And so, staying on this is there's various skincare products out there. What are some other useful ingredients that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
So for me, for skincare, so I'm going to give myself a shameless plug over here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
No, please do. I love, please do.
So what I did was, okay, you got to give a guy a job to create a skincare for women, because skincare for women, and we have two closets in my bathroom, one for my wife and one for myself. In my closet, it's my product, my kid's product, everybody's product. In my wife's closet, it's just her product, and then all the excess is on the bottom shelf. I said, oh geez. And the reason is because she literally have a lot of different regimens to clean, to moisturize, it's a 6-step system. And so I was given the task, I said, can I simplify this thing? So what I did with my technology is that I took all the ingredients that I thought are going to be beneficial to us. So I took glutathione, vitamin C, coenzyme Q10, DMA, which is a fish protein, resveratrol, cycloestragenol. That was the one that Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn won the Nobel Prize for finding out how to increase telomeres. And one of the components that helps increase telomeres was cycloestragenol. The key was, how do I get into a skincare line to be effective? And what we found out was, for it to be effective, it has to have a robust antioxidant system with it. And so we added to the whole thing. So we took all those molecules into a regimen and just give you a day and night cream, and hopefully in the future, it will be a different formula, but my goal is to create one just for men with all this thing into just one cream. It will be a different concept. It won't be as robust, but you know what? Most guys, if they do use a cream, use it once a day, and most guys don't use it at all.
Yeah,
at all.
I'm probably a little OCD. I have a morning and a night, and then I have a
weekly.
weekly.
Right.
I have a morning and night, and then I have a weekly. So,
Okay.
but
so,
I'm probably the exception. I'm not the norm. So I recognize that, and that's only just because I talk to so many people that I eventually take on different habits and things like that.
Yeah. So if you talk about the ingredients of the skincare, I have looked into stem cells. I've looked into peptides. I've looked into all the different components that are out there in this magic portions from this fruit juice and the melon juice. And, the list goes on and on and on. And to me, the most powerful skincare product that can ever be discovered is glutathione. The key is, how do I get into your body and make it feel better? Because as you know, glutathione has a pungent odor to it. It's a cysteine that has a sulfur odor to it. It's not easy to work it. Even though I have a skincare product, it doesn't smell good. And I'm defined 2 simple rules of skincare industry. It has to smell good and feel good. My product doesn't smell good and it's sticky. But it works. All I can say, it works. All right. If it works, I thought people would just ignore the 2 little imperfections I have in my product line. Yeah. But all of the product line, if you don't talk about stem cells, there are no real stem cells in any of the products. It's just the media. And so,
look, if you can promise someone that they're going to have beautiful skin and those little spots that they probably notice way more than anybody else around them, they're going to disappear, they'll do it. I know personally, I have had some very nasty protein shakes. I've done some nasty different dietary crazy exercise regimens, all because of the result that was promised. And a lot of times, it worked, and it was worth it at the end because we want that end result. So I would do that. I don't care how it smells or how it feels, if it gets the job done.
It does get the job done, but I'm looking for longevity of this product because people forget good days and bad days, right? So if you have a bad day because you have all these conditions and all of a sudden I get all these problems for you, in 6 months, you'll forget that at one point you had all these problems.
Mm.
Like today, I can assure you more than half the people of this country has forgot that we just came through a pandemic. Because I'm in Los Angeles, the traffic is horrendous. People are still cutting off of each other and the road rage is real. And people forgot that, hey, we just survived a pandemic. Millions of people have lost their lives, and we are back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though we had bad days, people forget about this thing. And so for me, is I always look for, if this product is so good for you, how can I make sure that it is pleasant enough so that you will keep on using it even after you have got rid of all your problems? Because guess what? If you stop using it, the problems will come back again. Mm-hmm. And I had a great person to explain to me that part. And you will see her picture on my website really soon. We just did a video shoot with her. And the reason she came back to do a video shoot with us is because she was using my products for about a year. And like everything else, she's a supermodel, Miss USA, and she stopped using the product because she gets products from every company in the world will send the products for free, right? She's a garage full of products. And she was using all the products, whatever comes in, and her spots came back. And as soon as spots came back and she was going for a TV appearance, and she realized that her spots are there, so she was putting her makeup on, and she remembered that, oh my God, I need my oral products. Went back into the garage, took my products out of there, started using the product. In 7 days, the spots were gone. And I get a call after that saying, you know what? Whatever you need from me, I'm here as a spokesperson for you because you just helped me with this thing.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with topical glutathione, a lot of times we have a product, we have something that we're using for a direct benefit, and then oftentimes we discover that it has these other tertiary benefits as well. So I'm curious, with topical glutathione, are there other uses and benefits that people might not expect?
So I get this question. The number one question I get asked every single day is that, how is this going to help me? And my basic answer to them is, I don't know how it's going to help you. Mm-hmm. Because as I said earlier, there are thousands of reactions that glutathione is affecting. So what reaction is causing what problem that glutathione is involved in, I do not know. Even though they may come for one reason to buy the product from us, inherently they will get other benefits. I can give a couple of examples like those because that just tells you what was happening. I had a patient at my pharmacy, and she was struggling with some issues, medical issues. So she got some products, and so she was using the products. She had a dog, and she read my book, and she said, "Hey, my dog licked the glutathione off my hands." And so what happened to her? Her dog was 18 years old dog, and I was on the way of moving on to the next life. Mm-hmm. And the dog said she started licking the fingers off of the glutathione, and literally in 2 weeks, the dog started getting more better, was hungrier now, eating more food, went for a walk, jumping up on the bed. The dog was this small and jumped on the bed and sleeping with the owner. And she said that, you know what? I didn't care about how it was helping me, but I couldn't believe what happened to the dog. The dog is full of energy, and the dog had cancer.
Oh, wow.
It had cancer. So, wow. I mean, it's just, it's these kind of stories tells you, say, you know what? We don't even know what this is going to do for us, right? I had a patient that was using, because they heard a story about some patients helping with neuropathy, with handling the tingling of the feet. And even though they did not help her with that one, guess what? Her gait got better. And it just found out that her issues of all those things was because she was not walking properly. And all of a sudden, she's changed her shoes and started walking better, the tingling. Even though it was not for the neuropathy itself, guess what? It was helping her in other avenues. So we always say the one thing, hey, if you think that you want to try this product, try it for 30 days. We don't ask any questions. You can return the product back. Actually, no, sorry. You cannot return the product back. You can ask for a refund, and we'll get you through full refund. It's one of the promises I have made very boldly to everybody. If you don't like the smell of it, if you don't like the feeling of it, or it just simply did not work for you, no sweats. You don't even have to do anything. Give me a 1-star review. Tell me it did not work for me, and I'll be glad to get you a full refund of the product. Because, again, I don't know how it's going to help you. Mm-hmm. So you're right. I'm not looking for the primary effect. I'm looking for all the secondary, tertiary, and all the other effects that are going to happen over long term. I was in a magazine that they were doing all my patients, and one patient lost like 20 pounds in 40 days or something, or was it vice versa? I can't remember. And the patient was not using the product for weight loss, was using for something else. But with that, she got enough energy to start exercising, start doing all the right things. And in 40 days, she lost 20 pounds. Now, we all know glutathione is not a weight loss product. It's not going to reduce the adipose tissue from your body. But making those toxins mobile and getting out of your fat tissues, the fat becomes more mobile. So now if you exercise it, guess what? You're going to lose weight. So even though it's not a primary effect, you're looking at secondary and tertiary effects from glutathiones all the time.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear, because I remind people as well that weight loss and fat loss is not always just about calories. There's sometimes toxins, there's hormonal issues, there's so many different issues. And, just hearing this right here reminds me of just the space that we're in now, and just the way the world's going now, that technology, science is moving so fast that it's hard to keep up with it. And not everything is going to have the study that's ready to launch right when you find these discoveries. And a lot of times these studies come because of interval and testing. How did this work for this person? And then you do it on somebody, and then somebody else does it, and they have these different effects. And that's how you come with it. So I'm all a big proponent of, because I use things and try things, and I have results that I'm shocked by. And so I just go ask people, hey, did you experience this too? Because normally I don't make these kind of claims for this, because it's supposed to do this one thing, but it's doing these 3 other and 4 things. And so is it just in my head, or is it actually going on? And then they'll say, well, I got 2 out of 4 of those things. So I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe when we talk about it, this is the main benefit, quote unquote, of what gets people in the door. But don't be surprised if these 10, 15 things, some of these things happen, because as you mentioned, there's so many things going on in the body, especially, and glutathione plays a part in that. So it's essentially like you use the glutathione, and whatever deficiencies you have, you might not even be knowledgeable or even know what some things that you may be deficient in. And the glutathione comes and helps and sweeps it up and brings you back to the optimal level.
Absolutely. And that is the whole premise. Is I use glutathione as a food, because when we eat food, we don't expect results to deal with it, right? We eat food as a fuel to the body. And so I look at glutathione as part of a food that we have to have it every single day. And my best examples I have are 2 people I have. They've been using this product since the discovery day, for now 9 years, which is my dad is one of them. And my partner in crime, my researcher in this one, he's been using this every single day since we discovered. And my dad, who's 86, 87 years of age today, and he's probably in the best shape of his life.
That's awesome.
He had arthritis, he had type 2 diabetes, he had blood pressure issues, he had thyroid issues. And today he is on a couple of medications, nothing for diabetes, nothing for arthritis. He walks 5-6 miles a day. He still does gardening. He just ordered 50 bags of manure from Home Depot so he can plant it. I said, Dad, what are you doing? I said, oh, summer's coming up. I need to plant my backyard so I have all these fresh vegetables. And you're the one who will be eating them. So why are you complaining about this thing? And,
exactly.
And so it's one of those things that we don't know how much gain he has in the last 8 years, but I can see his lifestyle today. It is absolutely amazing. And I wish I'm that healthy and that functional when I'm 87 years of age, when I get to his age. The other thing that we not discussed is, which is brand new, and I'm not sure where this is headed yet, but all the electromagnetic waves that are coming into this environment today. We have 5G networks, LTE networks, it's all radio waves. All these waves are producing oxidative stress in our body. We do not know how to deal with it yet. We are so new into this thing that we don't know until 20 more years from today how bad or how good they are, or how neutral they are. As of right now, we do know that there is definitely an effect on those electromagnetic waves within a certain feet radius of the actual pole where they're located. But far out, how about if it's your cell phone? How is that being affected on your body? Don't know yet that part. I know there are researchers out there that are looking at increasing oxidative stress, and there are some published articles saying that, hey, all this magnetic waves, radio waves is increasing oxidative stress. Now more than ever, you need to have glutathione levels to quench all those oxidative responses out of your body, because we can't get rid of the phones anymore, computers anymore. This thing is all happening because of thanks to computers and internet, right? That's not going to go away. And so the sooner we embrace that we do not know too much about it, let's provide our body the ammunition to deal with the problems that is exposed to. So I see as glutathione as the ammunition that a body needs abundantly.
And so I think we talked about a handful of ways to increase glutathione, and I think I have to mention this one. So it's exercising. Now, is there any particular type of exercise, or is it just being active in general?
So acting general is good, because what it does, it stimulates endorphins, it stimulates oxidative stress. And when you have oxidative stress, it sends signals for your body to produce more glutathione. Don't get me wrong. Just because you told something to do something, like I have kids, right? I tell the kids, do your laundry. Do they do the laundry? No, right? If you tell them 10 times, guess what? It will never get done ever again, because I'm not ever going to do it for you. So just because we told them to do something doesn't mean they're going to do it. What we have to do above and beyond exercise is to eat the right proteins and amino acids to help the body get those to produce the glutathione. So it's not about just exercising. Exercise is a must to stimulate the production, but we need the amino acids along with the exercise. That's why we always take a protein shake with our exercise. Why? Because we need the amino acids to do all the chemical reactions in our body. But keep in mind, we cannot do over-exercise, because over-exercises has also a negative effect on glutathione levels, because when you exercise too much, guess what? Now, all the glutathione that has been produced has to quench all the free radicals that has been created for exercising. So I have athletes, I have NFL athletes and MLB athletes that are using this product, and they use it for a different reason, because they exercise up the wazoo, and then they have a 6 to 8 hour downtime every single day when they do cold plunges, and they do every single thing to kind of reduce the oxidative stress down, right? And so with the help of glutathione, they were able to reduce the damage of oxidative stress really, really fast. So the recovery time is much better, much faster. Of course, the best patients or the best players that saw the most benefit were in the late 30s, early 40s, because they're at the time of retirement, and now all of a sudden they're back throwing balls again and hitting golf balls again, all those things, right? And so those are the patients we saw the most benefit from this product. When you're young, you don't see the benefit right away because you're invincible at this age.
Okay, yeah. So you answered my question, because I'm one of those over exercisers as well. And so because when you said that, I'm like, okay, then that means I just need to add more glutathione into my system, since I'm exercising so much, because I box, I lift weights, and then I also do marathon training as well. So
yeah, one of my best friends is an Ironman. And, I hope he's not listening to this, because I'm going to bag on him. But being an Ironman, his workout schedules are, I see his workout schedules, and I said, can humans do that? It's ridiculous, right? It's an hour and a half, 2 hours every single day, bicycling, running, jogging, swimming. He went to swimming in the oceans all the time. I said, I mean, we're not a fish. Come on, just get a life or do something else, right? But his body, you can tell the body's taking a toll on him because he has gained weight. I mean, he's fit, but he's not completely toned out. And I know for a fact that he's probably not going to see the day and light of 80 years old, right? And so there's a point where it comes out and say, I want him to exercise, but to a point where it's helping the body, not hurting him. And so Ironman, yes, if you do it once or twice, I mean, don't get me wrong. He has introduced me to people that have done 9 or 10 Ironmans, and they're in the 70s or 80s, are super fit people. So there are people out there that too. He's not one of them.
Yeah. And, but before I took on the endurance aspect of training, I actually thought about that a lot because I saw a lot of endurance athletes who did not look that good later in life. And I was like, I did not want that to be me. Like the skin is all messed up and everything. So I did a lot of research in terms of like, okay, if I'm going to put more gas onto my training, then I need to have equally the same approach when it comes to recovery and rejuvenation and putting everything back in my system. And so, so that's why I'm going to look into even more glutathione, but it is working. The toning and everything, my metrics and biomarkers have actually improved in my biological aging with all this as well. So, but I want to improve it even more because I'm super competitive. So, go ahead.
You said one thing about gas, right? So there's two things, right? Once your body has to be full of gas. The second thing is the accelerator pedal has to come down, right? If you have enough gas, but you're not pushing the thing that the car is not moving, right? So you gotta have both, right? So I always look at it because as a pharmacist, I always look at gas and acceleration comes from thyroid and cortisol, right? Thyroid is your gas in your car and in your body, and cortisol, which is the adrenal glands, is the acceleration. So people wants to jump off the roof and do bungee jumping, that's adrenaline, that's all cortisol. But if your thyroid is not good, guess what? You're crashing. You're literally getting adrenal fatigue and tired, right? So on the endocrine level, I understand that portion completely in and out. When it comes to nutraceutical levels, I mean, yes, glutathione is just one of the components to help a healthy body for exercising, but that's not the only thing, right? So we have to have all the nutrients, correct nutrients, to literally help the body move in the right directions, quench all the free radicals and all the oxidative stress out of the body, and keep it marching forward. So I'm sorry.
I like that analogy. I'm going to borrow it, but I'll give you proper attribution with it. But I love that analogy right there. That was a very beautiful analogy right there. So as we get ready to wrap this up, one question is, what's the future hold in terms for you? What are some of the things that you're currently excited about right now?
Oh boy. So there's a few things I'm excited about. One is I'm doing more research on this product. Like after the dog story, I have contacted my local veterinary school over here, university, and we are launching 2 new clinical trials to see if I can help dogs and cats in need at this point. So that's my thing. And these are, we're dealing with something that normally they will put them down because they have no treatments for it. So if I can solve that problem, we'll save so many animals from putting down for unnecessary reasons. That's one thing. Second thing, I am working on other molecules as well right now, trying to enhance my offering to see, hey, if I can do glutathione, we've already done the same thing with vitamin C as well. It's already done. So it's just a matter of launching the product of that coming out pretty soon. I'm working with other molecules like NAD to bring that on live as well. That's a very difficult molecule to work with. And so far, I'm failing miserably at this time. So it's already cost me so much money, but I'll be at it until I figure this thing out. If I don't figure it out, I'll do something else. But more importantly, I have a mission that I want to accomplish, which was basically my dad's vision with this product, is that his goal was for me to make this product available to the world, even if they can't afford it. And so I'm trying to do my best as possible to invest every resources I have to make sale in the United States, and then make it available for people that can't afford it. And so I have philanthropists that have joined my organization to help me with this thing, and I'm so so helpful, like people like Tony Robbins and his team, to helping me achieve the goal whenever the time comes for us. So that's what my heart is at right now: research and help people. That's it.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And where can listeners find out more about you? Where would you like for them to go to?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that one. AuroWellness.com, AURO Wellness, WELLNESS. So that's my main website. That's where you get all the bulk of information. I do have Oro Skincare, AURO Skincare.com. And that's for, of course, for all my people that want to get the simplified skin regimen, because I don't believe in 10 products, I believe in 2. If I can just achieve everything I want in 2 products, it might take 10. So those are 2 main websites. And if you email through that email address, if you address to me, the staff will send the email to me directly, and I can respond to that email directly.
Okay, great to hear. And I will have those 2 sites and resources that he mentioned, plus links to the book as well, in the show notes, in case you're driving or you're running out there and it's not an ideal time to take notes or anything. So thank you again, Dr. Patel. This has been an awesome conversation. This is like a masterclass for me. So I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. I feel way smarter than I was over an hour ago. So thank you.
I appreciate that. But for all the listeners too, it's not about selling the product. I want everybody to get educated first. You know what? You can get this book from anywhere. You can get from Amazon. If you have Audible, if you have the subscription, is free. I mean, get it, read it, because I can assure you it will change the way you think, how you can address your body. Because I truly believe that our body is self-sufficient, given the tools it needs to survive itself. I'm a pharmacist by trade, and I'll tell you, meds don't work. What works is nutrition, exercise, and what it needs for body to self-heal itself. And let's help our bodies together.
Very powerful message. And also the last thing in this book, you're also, not only will you get great information, but you're also going to be you'll get a 14-day kickstart plan to start boosting those glutathione levels as well. So you'll have all that covered.
Yes,
inside the book.
Yep.
So once again, listeners, thank you for tuning in again. As always, stay awesome, be limitless, and always never stop upgrading. Bye-bye.